Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy 4th of July holiday weekend Friday leading into it, and the weather looking a lot better today than it did this time yesterday. This was a cloudy scene, and much of Colorado is already seeing showers and thunderstorms today. We are seeing some storms, and we're going to keep that threat in the picture for the 4th of July weekend, but it's going to be way, way, way better. Meantime, looking outside, oh, look at that, gorgeous for us. In fact, you can't find a cloud in the sky over downtown Denver right now. And Greeley showing you that, of course, after yesterday's just incredible flood story that we saw there. Now, in Greeley, some parts of the city picked up as much as 3.4 inches worth of rainfall. That was 1 in 20, 1 in 25 year kind of event that you saw on the west side of Greeley, but a lot drier today, and certainly thankful for that. But meantime, yesterday, this is what we saw. Look at all that rain. And notice just the hit or miss nature of that rain. Those very dark green spots indicating in some cases as much as 3+ inches worth of rainfall. Other spots, Denver officially just 0.07 inches worth of rainfall, though the west and north side of the city did see a fair bit of it, 1.5 to 2.5 inches worth of rain. Now, those rain reports, Watkins, just the southeast of DIA, about 15 miles difference, 3.71 inches. You go 15 miles north and west of Watkins, 0.07 at DIA, as I just mentioned. So very, very hit or miss. This kind of reminded me yesterday, if you ever spent a lot of time in Florida, yesterday's rain, not only did it feel kind of like Florida, it was so muggy yesterday morning, but it was also very Florida-like in the fact that we had just that incredible just hit or miss nature to it. Brush up in Morgan County, a little over 2 inches of rain in Louisville, 2.4 inches worth of rainfall. Boulder getting a pretty good storm yesterday as well. Now, starting to see those popcorn shower storms already flaring on up in the mountains. Today, it's a bit more, again, hit or miss, but the mountains already getting some of that action. That will pivot its way off to the east, and that will lead to some storms for Denver in the I-25 corridor. But as I mentioned, two things about today's storms that will be very different from yesterday's. One, again, much more hit or miss in nature. And two, probably more importantly, today's storms will have a bit more forward motion to them. They're going to have a bit more giddy up to them. These storms won't be just sitting over the same areas, dousing the same places with heavy rain for an hour or two at end. These storms will be kind of in and out 20, 30 minutes, and you will be done. That said, we still could see over a 1/4 inch of rain in some spots, especially west of downtown, maybe Idaho Springs, Eldora. As usual, the foothills will be a bit more inclined to get some of those higher rainfall totals. Again, notice that kind of hit or miss nature of those storms, but as opposed to 3 inches of rain in one spot, we're talking about maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch worth of rain in some of those areas that get that storm. Otherwise, we should be mainly on the dry side. So again, just be ready for some of those showers and thunderstorms. You have some outdoor plans, an outdoor happy hour today. You should be good to go. Just have an indoor alternative in mind in case you get one of those storms. Current drought situation didn't get to us a whole lot yesterday just with all the action that we had, but I did see a slight trimming in some of those drought conditions in western Colorado. But the tale of one state and two completely different drought situations, it's still in play. Eastern Colorado drought-free. In fact, about 55% of Colorado without any sort of drought. And then you get into western Colorado, and about 1/3 of the state is either an extreme or exceptional drought. So very, very different situation as we head to the other side of the continental divide. And keep that in mind. If you do have some camping plans this weekend, it's of course the holiday weekend. I know a lot of us are going to go out into western Colorado and do some camping. Just keep in mind that there are going to be a lot of fire restrictions, but any sort of, again, camping out there, just keep that in mind. Check those county by county restrictions. We got those over at 9news.com. Check those as you head out into western parts of Colorado. Meantime, current temperatures, hey, Denver, it is just gorgeous outside. 77 degrees, sun-splashed skies, mountains, 60s and low 70s. It's comfortable, but we are seeing some of those storms out there. And then the western slope, as usual, our hot spot, 87 for you in Grand Junction. Highs for today, a lot of 70s and 80s along the eastern plains, mountains, 60s and 70s. Grand Junction, the hot spot at 95. Not expecting any storms out there in Mesa County and along the western slope. So we see those shower storms. Then tomorrow we'll do it again, but probably a bit more isolated than even today's shower and storms for us here into Colorado, as we'll see a ridge of high pressure gradually budge its way into Colorado, and that will trim back those shower and storm chances even more so as we get later on into the weekend. So that is some good news. Meantime, temperatures tonight, 60 degrees for a low. Pretty comfortable tonight. Then tomorrow, rise on up to about 90 degrees in Denver. And if we do get up to 90, it would be our 14th day at 90 or above so far this year. Meantime, should be a pretty comfortable day. Slightly lower rain chances than today for your day tomorrow. And we'll probably trim those rain chances even more so as we get into Sunday, but still have a chance for shower and storm both Saturday and Sunday, and that could impact those firework plans. Have more on that in just a second. Meantime, as we get into tomorrow, closing on the metro area, looking at some of those hit or miss storms, maybe a bit more favored into far northern Colorado, into Larimer and Weld counties. But Denver still holding on to that chance for a shower storm, expecting that chance to kind of peak around mid-afternoon, so between about 2 and 5 p.m. tomorrow with that greater chance for that storm. Highs for tomorrow, as I mentioned, we're looking at upper 80s to about 90 degrees for most of us. Of course, you get into the foothills and the mountains, you get to 6,500 plus feet, and those temperatures drop back into the 70s. And Berthoud Pass, you get to 10,000 feet or above, you'll be stuck in the 60s. But of course, you're not looking for warm weather at 10,000 feet or above, I would think. As we get into the weekend and that holiday weekend, getting into some more details on things, again, I think most of us stay dry tomorrow, but one or two of us will get a storm. What we're looking at this weekend is more that typical mom and pop hit or miss garden variety kind of shower and thunderstorm. Very different from what we saw yesterday when we had those just waterlogged huge storms pop on up early afternoon. This weekend's not going to be anything close to that. We'll have one or two storms during the afternoon, but most of us should stay dry. And Sunday looking a tad drier and a tad warmer than what we're expecting for your Saturday. So that's the overall outlook for the holiday weekend. And as we head into next week, we're looking at those temperatures rising on up for us as well as we get those mid-90s in the picture for us on your Thursday. So a ridge of high pressure will build on in. It looks hot. It looks mainly dry for next week, but we'll still hold on to some isolated showers and storms as we get into the into the early mid part of next week as well. So again, we'll keep those showers and storms around, but for most of us, we'll stay on the dry side, and certainly happy to see some dry weather after what we saw this week. And again, into some of those comments and questions that you might have if you're joining us here on Facebook. Remember, you can just drop in those questions right below, and I'll try and get to as many of those as possible. And Elizabeth saying hello, and certainly appreciate all of you for watching as well as we get into that holiday weekend forecast. And again, just to recap quickly for you, it does look to be mainly on the dry side for the upcoming weekend, which is, again, I think pretty good news for most of us. Probably slightly higher chance for a shower storm just north of Denver for tomorrow, and also just to the west into the foothills and the mountains as usual. If you're doing some hiking, you're probably good to go. Try and get it done a little earlier, as we will still have some of those showers and storms around, and especially be extra careful if you're above tree line. Get that hike done extra early if you're doing a 13 or a 14 or something like that for the upcoming weekend. Catherine asking for a quick look at that map once again, and we are looking at some of those, again, showers and storms. A quick look here at the forecast for this afternoon and for this evening. There's a look at those hit or miss showers and storms that will rumble their way into the front range, perhaps between about 4 and 7 o'clock with your main time window for a storm. So that would be right during rush hour, maybe even during happy hour, depending on what you're doing this afternoon or this evening. So just keep that in mind, as we are looking at some of those storms around during the afternoon evening time frame, but they'll clear up pretty quick, and we should be on the dry side for the majority of the evenings. Hopefully that helps you on out there, Catherine, and hopefully that has helped out with that forecast overall. Again, mainly looking on the dry side for most of us, though we are looking at one or two storms for the holiday weekend. So if you do have some of those firework or outdoor plans, those outdoor barbecues in mind for the weekend, just keep in mind that we will be looking at a few storms. Most of us stay on the dry side. Enjoy the upcoming holiday weekend. And from the 9 News Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us.